What up, family? It's your favorite cousin, Cool Rich, back in this mug. So we're about to have a good conversation about some fragrances, right? So I wanted to actually talk about something because I feel like there's been a lot of hating going on this fragrance house. It's not it's a designer. It's a designer. It's not a niche. It's a designer. But I wanted to actually compare it to the niche. Both of these fragrances are very well done. I cannot lie to say that these either one are missing out on much. I would say one is more potent than the other. Like I will say that, in which, as you can see, that I got, kind of scratching the beard. You'll see that there's a little purple bottle in my hand, right? So you'll wonder, like, man, what in the world, what purple bottle do bro got in his hand? Well, if you know anything about me, you know that I love Ralph Lauren. Right, so you know that I am a big fan of the fragrance house and also just the designer in general because they create some amazing clothes. The clothes fit my body. Like I know people like Armani, I know people like Dior, I know people like Chanel, I know people like Tom Ford, I know people love all of those different ones. Mine is Polo Ralph Lauren. I'll like if I want to be expensive, I could get into the purple label, but that's not where I would like to go. I like to go into what I generally would like to wear. And what I like to wear, I'll show you a few pictures and stuff like that, but I'll be crispy, you know what I'm saying? I'll be smooth. And I try to keep it always within that fine line of not looking like I'm just buying Ralph Lauren just to buy it and not overdoing it where I'm looking like, oh, you doing too much. You trying to look like a Ralph Lauren model and stuff like that. Like, you know how they be looking when they walking the runways. So I ain't trying to look like that where my pants be looking all big and everything like that sometimes, because I have seen, like, the runways. I do follow them and everything like that. So I give a lot of love to Ralph Lauren for a lot of their clothing. I have a lot of their clothes. If I'm not rocking D1 sportswear apparel or like our own stuff, like big shot ammo stuff, I'm typically rocking Ralph Lauren. So that's usually my main three that I'm rocking. If I'm not rocking my own brand or more local brands, I'm rocking D1 sportswear apparel, and then after that, if I'm not just regular, I'm doing Ralph Lauren. So I thought that their fragrance houses got a bad rap for the most part, like overall, because I mean, shoot, you like, and I'm not gonna say that some of it isn't warranted. Some of it is warranted because you do get some more like synthetic smelling fragrances from time to time. But as you've been seeing, that they've been putting their foot down on these fragrances lately. Like that red parfum, amazing. That Ralph's Club, Eau de Parfum or that Parfum, amazing. So they are definitely taking a lot of information that we've sent out as far as, wanting to see a higher quality of the Ralph Lauren brand when it comes to fragrances, in which I thought that they were doing well to begin with, back from when I used to start rocking their clothes in the early 2010s, things like that. So I want to say around 2010 is when I really started, because before then I was rocking USPA, I was rocking some other stuff. Like I just didn't really care for the name or like trying to make sure that I had the name brand stuff. It was more just like, hey, if it's made by Ralph Lauren, like American Living is made by Ralph Lauren, I didn't really care. I'm just like, hey, this is owned by them, so it's a cheaper version, it's a cheaper option, and it's something I can afford. So regardless if you can afford it or not, that's why I just say, like, hey, do whatever you can or stick within your budget. But nevertheless, this fragrance house has been more so given a bad rap. And the reason that is because you'll see like Ralph Lauren Purple Label, and for the most part, this will do the job. Now, what is in the Ralph Lauren Purple Label? You got some blackberry notes, you got some aromatic, fruity, woody notes. You got a lot of good stuff. You got some green coriander, mandarin orange, and then, in the middle notes, you got some sage and thyme with some mahogany, oak moss, a little bit of musk up in here, but it's real smooth. This is a very nice, clean, classy fragrance. I would say for performance, depending on how your body temperature works, you might or your body heat or just how your skin works, this might not project on your skin as often or as much as this next fragrance that I'm going to compare it to. But does it still do a great job? Yes, it does do a great job. Now, this blackberry note is very, very similar to another note. It's a berry, but it's not blackberry. But it's very, very similar to blackberry. And because of that similarity, that has gained a lot of false comparisons between this and the fragrance that I'm comparing it to. So, the one that I'm going to compare it to is the By Number 9 Bleecker St. By Number 9 Bleecker St. Because for the most part, a lot of people have something bad to say about Polo Ralph Lauren Purple Label because they're trying to compare it to this. Now this has that same type of fruity accord to it. You got the violet leaf, blueberry, some cassis, and everything like that. But where you'll see like some type of similarities, there's some thyme. You know, so you got the thyme up in here, you got some cedar, jasmine, and some oak moss, suede, patchouli, things like that. If you know me, you know patchouli is one of my favorite notes. So when you're talking about those, there are some similarities between like the middle notes and things like that and the base notes. Even the top notes, when you're talking about blueberry and blackberry, those can be similar sometimes. But blueberry is more sweeter. Blackberry is not as sweet as blueberry. So, and then also this has more of a punch to it. This is going to last a lot longer compared to this. Now, when I say that it'll last longer, I have sprayed some test strips, and those test strips, they were sitting for like, what was it? I'll say about 24 hours at this point, where it was actually noticeable even after 24 hours. So even with people saying like, oh, well, Ralph Lauren Purple Label doesn't give enough performance, it gives enough performance because I've worn it on my skin and I get a good amount of compliments behind it. And then on top of that, I do a reapplication of it because I still want to make sure that it's prominent enough for the sillage and everything. The sillage isn't that great. The projection isn't that great, but it's also dependent on your body heat. Like my heat, the way that my skin and everything reacts to the fragrance, I have a high body heat temperature. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure why. Like when I'm laying next to my lady, even then she'll tell me like, "Dang, you hot," and I'm not feeling hot, but it's just how stuff radiates off of my skin. And I'll feel cold for myself, but it's hot to the other person. But because of that, this actually radiates off of my skin pretty good. And that's what I want to say is like, sometimes things don't work with your skin all the way. Like sometimes people will say that this doesn't actually do the trick. And it's Bleecker St. So you would think that that would actually work, but then you'll see people that have to reapply it a couple of times just because even though it's great for their skin, it might not actually be the best thing. So that's another big thing that you have to take into account. And also with this is a more, it still gives like a more masculine, like, still gives a more masculine type feel. There's a masculine type feel to this compared to Bleecker St. Bleecker St. gives you more of like unisex. Ralph Lauren Purple Label gives you more of a masculine. Ooh, I thought I almost dropped it. Gives you more of a masculine feel, in which some people, that makes a big difference. Because like I said before, in the other videos, if you haven't seen my my Coach Green video, you'll also want to go and check that out as well, just understanding the differences between why some men and also some women don't want their men to be smelling the fruitier fragrance opposed to more of a classic manly fragrance. And that might be the bigger difference between Bleecker St. and also Ralph Lauren Purple Label, because Ralph Lauren Purple Label gives you more of that masculine je ne sais quoi. It gives you that difference of a more masculine feel. You smell that musk. You smell the blackberry and everything. You smell you smell the floral notes. You smell like it smells more of a man, even with that fruity accord of that blackberry and everything. You still smell a man. Like even with me spraying, it still smells manly. So you can't let that be your determining factor of saying like, yo, I'm not gonna get the blue Ralph Lauren purple label because it doesn't linger or last as much. I just sprayed it and this mug is sticking around very good. Like, I'm not gonna lie. And then also the strips that I had sprayed, it still smelled very good. Like, you cannot sit up here and sleep on the strips. Don't sleep on the scents. Don't sleep on the fact of how you might actually use the fragrance for yourself. And this, just because it's bond number 9 Bleecker St, just because it has that blueberry note, sometimes or some way your lady might not want you to smell that fruity. That might be her prerogative. She might be like, it's too fruity for me. I'll wear it. But I want you to wear that Ralph Lauren purple label because that smells more masculine. I can smell the fruity blackberry note up in it, but it still smells like a masculine man. So that's why I gotta give Ralph Lauren they just dues, and round of applause on this. Now, what will I give this as far as the tiers that we go with? You know, we go with the hard pass, we go hard pass, compliment pass, and phone number pass. Phone number pass. I'm giving this phone number pass all day. I am. Because regardless of everything else, you're not going to find many people that's going to wear this and just be around in your general vicinity. It's not readily available as easy as it is for Dior Sauvage and all these other ones. So that's why I would give this one more of that, yes, phone number pass. I can see you getting a phone number with that fragrance on. You walk by, or somebody walk by you and your stuff, this is radiating off of you good, got a good sillage, I'm telling you it's gonna work out. So, you know, it's your host with the most, Finding Nemo, aka, you know, I need more ammo. Or you could also go by Cool Rich as your favorite cousin, because, you know, I also do fragrance and firearm reviews. But, hey, man, I appreciate y'all for tapping into the Bleecker St and the Ralph Lauren review. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.